A road bike isn't just a road bike. Not anymore anyway. There are now three broad categories: aero bike, endurance bike, and what used to be normal but is now called a lightweight bike. And we regularly get asked here at GCN about what type of bike you should buy. So here is my perspective on it, as an ex-pro rider and not as someone who works in the bike industry. And yes, these three are all top of the range examples, but their characteristics run true right the way down to lower price points as well. Firstly, what are the differences between them then? Well, let's start with an aero bike. Now, as well as designed to be aerodynamic, there are other things that set this apart from our benchmark lightweight bike. So for example, to help make you more aerodynamic, as well as the actual bike itself, these tend to have the lowest front ends out there, meaning that if you've got the flexibility in your hamstrings and your glutes, then you'll be able to adopt a super aerodynamic position. However, this means that they're not actually going to be suitable for every type of rider. Many people are going to struggle to find a comfortable position on them. One criticism that was often levelled at the first generation of aero bikes is that they could be a little bit harsh. Now, so much work had gone into creating stiff but aerodynamic tube profiles that actually comfort had been sacrificed. Now, generation 2 of aero bikes, pretty much across all manufacturers, have actually gone a long way to sorting that problem out. But I would just say that if you fit a wider tyre on your bike, you can pretty much offset any kind of harshness that you might feel anyway. Plus, a 28 now can roll significantly faster than a 25C tyre, added into the fact that they can still be really aerodynamic on modern wide rims, and actually there's no disadvantage to sticking fat tyres on your bike. So, you might be asking the question then, what is the disadvantage of an aero bike if one can actually fit you? And that is a really good point. Now, sometimes aero bikes will use specially designed brakes that might not be quite as effective as a standard SRAM, Shimano or Campagnolo brake. And then the other thing is the look. Some people absolutely love it, other people prefer the lines of a more traditional lightweight bike, and that's absolutely fine. But you can't escape the fact that unless you ride in really hilly or mountainous terrain, that in pure performance terms, this type of bike is the fastest type of bike that you can buy. So what about endurance bikes then? Well, this is a much broader category. Generally speaking though, they're road bikes that give you a more upright and comfortable position. That's because they've got taller front ends, and the reach from the handlebars to the saddle is also a little bit shorter. They tend to be a little bit more stable out on the road, so the handlebars feel a little bit less twitchy in the hands of inexperienced riders. Now, comfort is also paramount here, so they tend to have clearance for bigger tyres, so those 28C tyres that we just talked about, potentially even larger still. The frames as well have built-in vertical compliance, a little bit more than the normal road bikes. They're also more comfortable over larger bumps as well. As these bikes tend not to be designed with racing in mind, it means they've led the way when it comes to disc brakes. Now, although this particular one doesn't have them, endurance bikes are where discs have found their first home on the road. And it makes complete sense. You get more predictable braking, the frames can be designed to be more comfortable, and you also get greater tyre clearance as well. So what are the disadvantages then to endurance bikes? Well, if you're used to a more racy machine, then you might actually struggle to even get your correct position on these bikes. You can get around it perhaps by going a size smaller, so having a bike with a shorter head tube and then putting a longer stem on, but it's not exactly going to speed up the handling. There tends to be a weight penalty over the lightweight brethren, although that can actually just be due to the more robust component choices than the actual composition of the frame itself. Then again, for those of us used to a more racy feeling bike, the handling might not really light your fire. But then if I can be the voice of reason again here, I often find that I can just get used to a bike after 1 or 2 rides. So what was a stable bike just becomes a normal bike. And it's certainly not going to make you go around corners any slower, that's for sure. Okay then, on to our industry standard, the lightweight road bike. Now, while the other two types might have a characteristic geometry, what you find on these can vary significantly from manufacturer to manufacturer. So you might be as low and as stretched out as on an aero bike, or even verging on as comfortable and as upright as an endurance bike. Now, they also tend to be really stiff, but also comfortable at the same time, because the tubes that have to be compromised to be able to cut through the wind. And because of that as well, then they also are of course lightweight. In fact, the lightest aero bike is probably still about 250 grams heavier than these, potentially even more. If you take a look at the type of bikes ridden by pro cyclists, then you'll still see the majority of riders astride this type of bike. And bear in mind that those are the guys that would indisputably benefit from riding an aerodynamic bike. So that tells you something about the way that these ride. There must be something about them, perhaps something that can't actually be quantified. So what type of bike should you buy then? Well, if you don't feel comfortable stretching out on a road bike and speed isn't always your first priority, then an endurance bike is the clear choice. It's nice and simple. It's not going to hold you back if you decide that you do want to race on it, but it really comes into its own on longer and steadier bike rides. However, it's the aero and lightweight divide that is much harder. And to be fair, this is where most of you seem to be struggling with your decision. So let's try and drill down, shall we? If you want to go faster, buy an aero bike. Although they give away half a kilo at least to a lightweight option, they are going to be faster in pretty much any situation unless you're just riding alpine climbs all day. But as we've seen with our pro riders, there is still something about a lightweight bike that is hard to resist. Whether it's the aesthetics, whether it's the ride quality, whether it's the history, they are still really, really great bikes. So I guess if you want to go faster, buy an aero bike. Otherwise, you've got to listen to your heart. Or in fact, you could just watch this GCN video where we actually test out the effect of weight on an alpine climb, and you can get through to that video just by clicking up there. Or to see a fourth type of bike that I haven't covered here because it's kind of not really a road bike, then why not check out our road bike versus gravel bike video that we shot in the wilderness of Wales. You can get through to that just down there. Otherwise, subscribe to GCN. Do that by clicking on the box that says subscribe in the middle there.